welcome to Go Man Go. I'm your host, Chris. And as I've said before, it's our hope to encourage people to get out and play disc golf. And hopefully while you're playing, you learn to enjoy the sport. Now, part of learning to enjoy the sport is learning how to play the game. Today, we're going to talk about putting. We're going to talk about leg position, body position, how you grip the disc, how you release the disc, and we'll also go over the 3 different styles of putting. So let's go ahead and get to it, shall we? So the first thing I want to show you is how to grip the disc when you're putting. Now remember, on the backhand drive, or when you're throwing the disc backhand, you fan out your fingers. Well, it's similar on putting, except your 3 fingers here are closer together, and then you put your pointer finger on the rim. At least that's how I do it, because that's how I feel like I get better stability. I think it's also easier when you release the disc to kind of spin it a little bit. So you put your 3 fingers here like that, pointer finger like that, and your thumb is just on top like that. So that's the grip. That's how you grip the disc for a putt. All right, let's talk about foot and leg position. Now when you're on the tee pad and you're driving backhand, you want your body sideways, and you step and then you release and open up your body. Well, when you're putting, it's different. You want your body facing. You want your body facing the basket. If you're the basket, I'm facing you. All right, that's how you want your body to be positioned. Now for your feet and your legs, it depends on what style you're doing. Some styles you want your right foot out front of you if you're right-handed, or if you do like we call a straddle putt, you're kind of like this with legs side by side. I'm going to go over a push putt and a spin putt first. So if I'm doing that, both of them, their body position is very similar. If you're right-handed, you got your right foot out, maybe at about 11 o'clock, and when I'm getting ready to putt, I will lean back a little bit depending on how much distance I have to do, and then come forward. So I lean back a little bit and I come forward. My toe actually comes off the ground, just a little bit. All right, so how do you release the disc? Well, if you are doing what's called a spin putt, that's what I use most of the time, is I start about at my belt buckle. All right, about my belt buckle right there. And then I'll come up with the disc flat, and I'll put a spin on it with my wrist. Boom, like that. Let me show you. All right, I have my feet one in front of the other. I have my disc, and I'm going to come down to my belt buckle and up straight like that. I'm going to put some spin on it with my wrist. Like that. Now depending on how far I am away from the basket will depend on how far I'm going to rock back, so I can get more power onto it, get more lift onto it. And sometimes if I'm far enough away, I'll even come out of my stance like that a little bit, trying to get more power onto it. All right, now I'm going to show you the push putt. It's very similar with your body position. You have your feet about the same place. If you're right-handed, you have your right foot out, your left foot back. You could even do that rocking motion a little bit if you'd like to. But instead of coming from your belt buckle and up to release the disc, you're coming lower. You're coming down about right here, coming up and releasing. And the difference is the spin putt puts a lot of snap onto it, and that disc, if you miss, it's probably going to go left or right, or go past the basket. When you're doing the push putt, at least with my experience, it's a little more lofty. So it kind of maybe floats a little bit more to the basket. You're still going to snap your wrist some, all right, but maybe not as much with the spin putt. But it kind of lofts its way into the basket. Let me see if I can show you. All right, that was a warm up right there. I have my body position the same way. I'm coming down here. See, there's a little bit more loft to it. Okay. So now let me show you the straddle putt. Now the straddle putt, your position is totally different than the other two. You have your feet side by side like this, and you are going to come from low down here. It's kind of like if you were taking a granny shot in basketball, but you're just using the one hand. You're still going to come up and try to get that disc flat, put a little bit of snap onto that disc. And this is kind of another one that's kind of lofty on the disc. Now if I'm far away and I feel like I need a little extra air to get under it, to get it to the basket, I'll do the straddle putt, because I feel like I can come up, lean forward, and release that disc. Before I step out, you want to release that disc and try to get it a little more loft, get it more air to get it to the basket. Let me see if I can show you. So I have my feet side by side, and I'm going to come down low, come up to release the disc. Like that. All right, now I'm kind of close there, so I didn't really show you about some of the power you can get from the straddle putt. One last tip on when you're putting, doesn't matter which style you're doing, you want to find a spot on the basket to aim. You maybe want to look at one of the chain links on one of the sides, or in the middle, or up high, a little low, depending on how far you're from the basket. The further I am from the basket, the higher I'll go up on the chain link to try to aim. And also I'll aim a little bit to the right, because if I'm further away, it has a tendency to fade to the left. But you want to kind of look for a spot to aim to and throw to that spot. The only way to get better at disc golf is to practice. So you need to get out on a course and play, but you also need to have some practice rounds where you're not keeping score and you're just trying different ways to throw the disc or different ways to putt. A lot of disc golf courses have a practice basket for you to go to, and I encourage you to start there when you're practicing. And you might want to do this. You might want to start relatively close, especially since your arm's not really warmed up. Let's start relatively close. However many putters or discs you want to use, just put all those in there. Then you go grab your disc, and you're going to come back a little bit further. Do the same thing. You just keep trying to take further steps back. And you just keep going back as far as you feel comfortable on getting to the basket. If you want to practice more on your putt, I encourage you to go out and get several putters. Maybe find one of the ones that you really like, or you can go to a place where they have used discs, just get some used putters, get a bunch like I have here, and you can just start throwing just like I showed you a minute ago. Come a little closer, and take a step back, a little further away, a little further away. And you just keep taking further steps back. I think I'm probably off camera by now, but I just keep going back. I made all of them. What do you know? All right, you see what I mean? That's a good way to practice until you get more comfortable. And especially when you're there for the day to play disc golf, start off by putting to get warmed up, and then go to driving the disc to get warmed up. Hopefully you learned something new today about putting. Maybe it'll change your game, maybe it'll improve your game. Now I want to ask you to like and subscribe so you can keep updated on all the latest videos. I got one last thing to say. Go man go, get out and throw.